Alright everybody, welcome back to HARUNA episode 10. Today I got something new again, messing around with the video format. I figured I'd throw the cinematics up front instead of at the end of the video, and we'll see how that one turns out. So if you like what you see, stick around for the rest of the video because we're having an in-depth tour of everything I've made since last time. And if you really like what you see, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out a ton, helps me grow, and it gives me a little bit more motivation to post more videos of this project. But to be honest, I was gonna do that anyway because I love this project and I love this park. So without further ado guys, let's get right into the video. Okay, so the first area I'd like to show off is the bridges leading up to Yucca Foothills. I left it incomplete at the beginning of the last episode, so I went ahead and finished it today. So here we've got a little fenced in area between the two bridges. I'm really happy with going with this design right here. It's kind of got a terraced sort of balcony look as opposed to just walling it off straight like this piece here. And you'll see that path is actually there. So this is all not actual walkable path, but it just looks like it. And I'm glad I went with this as opposed to this on this side. It just adds a lot. And then I went with a small little design in the floor. Just something small, but it adds a lot, I think, because there's a lot of circles going on. So yeah, I think the four bridges area is coming along nicely. I guess the three bridges on top are done. We just got to clean up this area, which will be in the next episode. Another thing you'll notice in this area is that I've done all of the landscaping around the dome. See, I've got this all done, and especially this area down by the train track. So I started doing this design where it's got like 3 barriers in between the path and whatever I don't want people to get into. So this was a very important barrier right here, so that's why it's got 3 layers. In addition, there's some heavy duty fencing on this side. And the layers consist of a main fence, a natural barrier, and then a third retaining wall, just to act as that final layer of support, or a defense rather, because this area is highly dangerous. I mean, this lagoon has access to the roller coaster track, a log flume ride, and a waterfall, as well as this train track has steep cliffs that someone can just fall off. So we want to prevent any of that ever happening. So to have that, we have good security measures such as this and some other places further on that we will get into. Moving on, the next area I'd like to get into is the area with the tunnel that intertwines between the roller coaster track. So if you remember from the past, it's got this ride sort of having a dead end here. So we've actually gone ahead and dug the tunnel out. It's not fully completed, but I did make a little bit. I think this is about a third of the way of the tunnel, so we'll have to dig it out more and add more supports. But I dressed up the outside. We've got the tunnel entrance. This is HARUNA Rail, tunnel number 3. Tunnels 1 and 2 being here by this train station, and then here where we just were. And from this tunnel, we have a nice bridge. And the bridge has got a cover as well as some guard railings on either side to prevent people from throwing things onto the track from the train. Because in real life, it's likely to happen. You know, people are just going to throw things and can't really help it. So try to prevent as much things as possible. And this bridge is a little interesting because you can see this is straight and then it starts tilting downwards because there's a vertical slope as well as a horizontal turn. So not only is it's tilting in 2 directions rather, so it's a bit interesting to build, but overall I think it turned out okay. And leading from the bridge, we've then got this pathway that's for the train rail, but it's also acting like a retaining wall right above the roller coaster track and the exit queue. Alright, and now for the highlight of this episode, we're gonna head into Avanti Falls. So let's go through the path we made last time. And it's almost like this corridor is transferring you into a different world, right? So this area, I wanted to feel completely different than the rest of the park. Slightly closer to this feel, but even more, I guess, rural and western feeling. So right off the bat, we got some western fences, and this is the type of barrier I was talking about, 3-layer, where there's original fencing, natural barrier, and then a retaining wall. And then I've done the same thing across the channel onto the dome island because I thought it looked really good having a corridor like this. So here's the finished up dome area. It's just cosmetic right now. I don't have any plans to add any rides or any further padding there. I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. Moving on, we've got a skinny pathway up into the Avanti Falls area, and you'll see that not only is the area called Avanti Falls, but the ride is called Avanti Falls. This log flume has this custom logo made by ChatGPT, and I chose this one specifically because the roof covering over the hill is quite literally this. So it's really nice. I like the logo, and I went with orange. It just looks cool. So yeah, it's not a ride in Haruna unless it's got this thing in front of it. So we've got a little staircase up until this part of this walkway. So now there's another way up, but it's roped off and people can't really walk up there. I tried to put a small path, but it didn't really work. So now we've got some shaded trees heading up to the path. And this path goes right up alongside the vineyard. So overall, I'm liking the close-knit feeling of it. It really feels like it's incorporated well into this area, like they were built together. And you may have also noticed that I extended this path, or not this path, this patch of crops. It used to end here, and now I've doubled it in size just to fully incorporate this newer area into the park. Because I think at the end of last episode, this mountain was full and it was very steep, so I had to lower this entire valley and shape it to where a ride could easily fit here. So that took a bit of time. And to make the feel of the switch up into this area more known, I've changed up the building materials, so now we've got a lot more wood and iron pieces. Alright, so next up we've got this little collection of buildings. First we've got this tower, and second and third we've got 2 vending stands. First the Gulpy, and second the Tiki Cheeky. And overall these buildings are connected, so I've got a door so that the vendors could theoretically access both sides to start their shifts. And then moving on down this little plaza, got the entrance and the exit of the log flume. Alright, so now we're going to get into the actual ride itself. So the theme that I went with was sort of a sort of bandit guy who has broken into the secret wine cellar, or secret wine storage for the secret recipe, I guess the batch of new wine that Avanti Vineyards has been cooking up. So they've been hiding it away in a secret shed up here. And we're gonna go find it and confront this guy. So that's the sort of premise of this ride. So you'll see at the beginning we've got Avanti Vineyards wine storage in front of the station, and let's make our way through the queue. So we've got the ride sign and the entrance. So the queue is very concrete and industrial feeling. I wanted this to look as sort of vintage as possible, like this was here like within 10 years of the park opening as a park. The vineyard has probably been here forever, right, since the beginning of Haruna, and this was recently put in after they turned the area into a theme park. So I wanted this to look old, and I think it does achieve that fact. It's got, or that look, it's got the a classic kind of vibe going on. It's very concrete and basic. Wood structures, corrugated iron, rooms, and nice scenic type of queue. So we'll walk through it. Excuse me. It's not too long of a line, but I don't think it'd ever fill up at the same time, so I think it's a good length. Nice view of the coaster from here. You can see the beyond vertical drop. And then going down, we're about to enter the station. So here we are, into the main station building. I tried to make it into 3 separate buildings. So the back 2 buildings right here are technically one, as this is the station block right here, but I sort of split it into 2. So the first is like an outside kind of shed. Next we've got like a garage with a double skylight. Sort of make it a little modern, but let a lot of light in, and I like it a lot. Glass. And then the third building is sort of a barn type thing. Garage, storage shed, with the animatronic opening doors piece right here. So as the ride begins, riders are immediately dropped into the lagoon down below. And it's very scenic. We've got a nice rock retaining wall here. Pretty steep. Instead of doing the classic retaining walls that I've been doing throughout the whole park, I tried to switch it up because this area is older. So we went with some natural retaining walls. So yeah, we got this nice loop around. There's some splashdown pieces, if I can find one. Yeah, some splash pieces here. So as the track or the log goes around this loop, riders are splashed with the guests on the path. It's a nice little area. And then we enter the first lift hill. So we'll go up the lift hill. The lift hill structure has got the RMC kind of skeleton that they've been using for their hybrid coasters and for Goliath at Six Flags Great America. So I was inspired by that a lot, and I wanted to include that into my park. I think it looks a lot better than the in-game supports, and that's why I went with it. So at the top of this lift hill, we've got a cover and a small drop and bank to the right as it goes along this windy path. We've got some longer trees with some shade and some hanging lights. That looks bad. I don't know why these always move. Every time I come through here, those lanterns are always not connected to the tree. I don't know what's going on. Like, see? Anyway. Continuing down, we enter the second lift hill. And notably, we're very high up, I will say. But I think cresting this mountain peak up here just looks really good. That's why I made it this high. And the second lift hill also has the steel structure. So from up here, got a nice turnaround helix into a mini drop, where we are then greeted by another photo of the wanted guy to remind us of the theming, and then we enter the showroom. So this is pretty much all the theming of this ride. We've got Avanti Vineyards Extended Storage Depot and a big keep out sign. But obviously, we're gonna go in there, right? So, if there's another log coming, yeah, I'll let it play. Alright, so basically these guys are in a shootout over the secret supplies of special wine up here. And apparently they're keeping explosives up here too. So one guy shoots the explosives and explosions go off. And then you exit the building and you're getting ready for the final drop. I just want to say that this drop is pretty unrealistic. Like, we zoom out and if you look at it, it's pretty massive. I believe this drop is about 110 feet tall, which for a water log flume is ridiculous. So realistically, it should be about this tall. to be some of the tallest in the world, but man, this thing is massive. And I think at the bottom it pulls like 5 Gs or something, because it's just this simple little bank from 45 to 0 degrees, and it's very tight, but that's fine. So we'll go ahead and watch till our final drop down. And there's another cover, by the way. Here we enter the splashdown. It takes an S-bend and goes right back into the station. Another thing I wanted to include with this ride was a possible path for any crew workers or riders even to get down from the ride and get to safety in the event that an emergency happens. So let's go ahead and walk through the safety maintenance path. So first, I want to say that these paths were all made with the assumption that a mechanic would be able to safely cross over the track. In real life, if they are not able to do that, then this doesn't work. But it's too late because I've already built it and I think it looks fine. So if anyone knows actually and could let me know in the comments below, that would be great. But in any case, we're going to get into the path. So assuming they can cross this track, they're going to head down here. There's a small staircase and they're met with a door. This door is kind of wacky, I know, but this door heads across. And then there's a ladder down onto this little platform. There's another door where they supposedly go in and come out on this side. And this is the first pump storage. So this brings all the water up to the beginning drop, as well as pumps water up into the rest of the ride from here. Can you see you've got huge pipes here leading into here and leading over there, which we'll get to at the end. So heading through, there's a small pathway, maintenance walk, and then we enter the lift. So assuming they can cross again, they get to the lift hill section, and there's nicely a staircase already built in, so they can just take that up, and at the top of this lift hill they can then cross over onto this section, head down the ladder, and there's a smaller path which runs right next to the track where they can do maintenance on the speakers or anything over here. So reaching the second lift hill, the rider or the maintenance guy could go to the top of the lift hill, and this area, again, assuming they're able to cross, has a another small catwalk and ladder situation, and we've got some control panels and some pipes. So realistically, water gets pumped from the lagoon up to here, and then that pipe brings it up to here, and this water from here then supplies the rest of the water from this upper section in this storage. So going back down the second lift hill, assuming again that the worker can cross over, we have a pathway onto this side which just leads to the showroom. So then they could enter this door and pretend this is hollowed out, climb up a ladder to this hatch right here and access the room if need be. And lastly, we have this final area, which I guess it can be accessed from this side, but generally you'd access it from this side, because from the back side of the station, we have a smaller pathway. And if we follow it, we enter the sort of, I don't want to say transfer track because this is a log flume, but in the event that the logs need to be taken off of the track, they are then diverted onto this little moat, which is bringing them into the storage shed / maintenance shed, which is just kind of an empty building. So from here, the workers would then have access to the storage shed, as well as access to the pump controls, and then crossing over, there's a small catwalk that they could take leading up to the upper section up here. So the entire ride should be accessible by foot, and having a way for riders and maintenance workers to successfully and safely get back down to the station. Another thing I wanted to add is that I added these ropes and lights above the splashdown area because I wanted in a way for there to be lights in this area so that the maintenance workers could just walk across the splashdown area. And I didn't want to place these types of lights everywhere. So from there, capping off the ride experience, the exit path leads right into this porch area, and there's some stairs which lead right into the entrance plaza of the ride. And immediately guests are faced with their ride photos, which are just some Google images I took. And I used these same images for the ride cam photos on Amphion as well. But in the game, they hypothetically purchased their photos from this vendor. But we all know it's a Tiki Cheeky. Hopefully in Planet Coaster 2 they've got some type of ride photo thing. Alright, so aside from that, that's all from me, folks. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It was very fun to make, and I'm really happy with the progress we're making. So if you want to see the next episode, go ahead and leave a subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll see when I post the next one, probably within the next few days. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.